Alright, today we are solving quadratics. When solving, not much of this is new, okay? You're going to do the following steps. Number 1, set the quadratic equal to 0. Basically that means move everything to one side. Okay, step 2, you factor. We've done that. Step 3, set each factor equal to 0. We've done that. We did that more when it was like x squared plus 2x equals 0. We factored out the x. You were left with x plus 2. And then we did x equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0 minus the 2, so you got x equals negative 2. So all of this, and then check, you just plug your answers back in and make sure they work. So none of this is new. So here we go. Let's do a couple examples. This first one, x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. Factor first. Okay, first of all, step 1, set the quadratic equal to 0. We are equal to 0. Okay, so now we can just start. Factor. What multiplies to give you negative 6? That adds to give you 5. That's going to be 6 and negative 1. So x plus 6, x minus 1 equals 0. Then step 3, we set each factor equal to 0. So x plus 6 equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0. Solve. Step 4, so minus the 6, you get x equals negative 6. Add the 1, x equals 1, and boom, you have your two answers. To check, plug it back in. If you square negative 6, that's 36. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30, so that's 36 minus 30 is 6, minus 6 gives you 0. And then plug in 1, 1 squared is 1, plus 5 times 1 is 5, that's 6, minus 6 is 0. So they both work, and you're done. Okay, this next example, right over here, let me move it down, try a different color. What you need to do here is step 1, you are not equal to 0, so we're going to move everything over. I'm going to add the 10x over to here, and minus the 24. So I have x squared plus 10x minus 24 equals 0. That was step 1. Step 2, we factor. What multiplies to give you negative 24? That adds to give you positive 10. That's going to be, let's see, negative 24. So negative 12 and positive 2. Oh, 12 and negative 2. There we go. Adds to give you 10. So x plus 12, x minus 2 equals 0. Then set each factor equal to 0. Solve. Minus the 12, so you get x equals negative 12. Add the 2, so you get x equals 2. You have two answers. Plug them in. Make sure they work. And that's how you solve. Okay, this is class 5, solving quadratics. That's all we do. Alright, so let's do one more example together. This one right here, you have this x plus 3 times x minus 2. You need to do that out first, because what we're going to do when you set it equal to 0, you minus the 6. So you have x plus 3 times x minus 2 minus 6 equals 0. So we're going to need to FOIL. When you FOIL, x squared minus 2x, and then the 3 times each, so plus 3x minus 6, and then you have this other minus 6. All together, when we combine like terms, we have x squared plus x minus 12 equals 0. So from there you factor. What multiplies to give you negative 12? That adds to give you 1. Well, I know to get 12 we have negative 4 and 3, or negative 3 times 4. Which one adds up to be a positive 1? The negative 3 and 4. So x minus 3, x plus 4 equals 0. From there, set each factor equal to 0. Add the 3, x equals 3, subtract the 4, x equals negative 4. So there are your two answers. You plug them back in. One thing I want to bring to your attention is back up in the beginning when you had this. If that were just set equal to 0, for example, if you had x plus 3 times x minus 2 equals 0, that's when you can set each factor equal to 0. Because when you multiply two things, if one of them is 0, then the entire thing is 0. You cannot do that up here because to multiply two things to equal 6, it doesn't work like that. It's not, you don't have one of them equal to 6 unless the other one equals 1. So that is why you need to move it all equal to 0. That is why you cannot just say x plus 3 equals 6 and x minus 2 equals 6. You have to have it equal to 0 first before you do that. Alright, so there's your lesson. You have 2 you try problems. Complete those for class.